fun right now for coming blue.
No, I'm trying to. So I've got this new keyboard that I was given to review. With analog mechanical keys. It's a very unique bit of hardware. So I'm essentially doing tests between 4 different keyboards to see if it's faster movement wise for Quake World. So the problem is, I think I'm getting RSI in my fucking hand because I've got to do so many rapid left-right strafes like this that I think I'm getting slower. I don't know, because the last keyboard I tested, this one, which is a Logitech membrane keyboard, which people believe are the fastest keyboard for the Quake World. I got slow results. The slowest speed I got out of any run was on this keyboard. So I don't know if maybe my testing methodology is wrong, or I'm getting finger strain from doing it. So I've done 5 runs on each keyboard, and I'm gonna give my hand a rest, and then I'm gonna do another 5 runs on each. But what's crazy is the fastest run I've had so far was on the Cooler Master mechanical keyboard with Cherry MX brown switches, which should be the slowest. Yeah, so maybe this test is not quite the best, but when I get to the bunny hopping test, yeah, so what I'll do for the bunny hopping test is I'll put the start, I don't know, maybe I was going to do a lap, like maybe put the start here, and then do a full lap around and finish here. And I'll weave in between these, because this is real turning bunny hopping speed, which is probably where I'll get the more accurate results. Something like of this. Yeah, but I just need to have a consistent test. So because I have to manually place these start and finish locations. So so I have to do all the testing in one go, because as soon as I leave the map, I lose those positions. So right now I'm gonna do. Yeah, so right now, I'm just giving my hand a break. So now I'll actually switch back to the Wooting. And the Wooting actually has the second fastest speed so far. And it got a speed faster than both non-mechanical keyboards, which is actually very impressive. But I've got to say, because these are artificial tests, I've got to say that when I switched from the Cherry MX Brown to the Matias non-mechanical keyboard, both Drax and I noticed a large increase in speed for movement. And whenever I would switch back to my Cherry MX Brown, in-game I would notice a speed decrease. Whereas when I switched from the Matias to the Wooting, I didn't notice any speed decrease at all, which I'd normally feel when I use a mechanical keyboard. I'll be back in a second. I'm surprised to hear you say that, honestly, because any Corsair peripheral that I've ever seen or used was a pile of junk, and Cherry MX blue switches are the worst I've ever used. But each to their own, I guess. The hell? I just did a sub 12-second run on the Wooting, and I wasn't able to do that on the 11.871, and I wasn't able to do that on the non-mechanical cool. What was it? 11.871. I don't know, maybe other people won't agree with me, but to me, this Wooting is fast. And the thing is, non-mechanical keyboards are so disgusting to use. I was basically switching between a mechanical and a non-mechanical. So anytime I wanted to play Quaker, I'd plug in a non-mechanical keyboard. And whenever I'd wanted to play anything else, I'd plug in the mechanical. But this Wooting, man, it's good. .078. Thanks for the follow, man. Liava. 12.078. Yeah, I think we'll see the real, because like we're talking like there's a less than half a second from the worst run to the best run out of all keyboards. So this is maybe not, I don't know, like doing a longer run. Doing a longer run. I don't think my fingers would be able to actually handle doing it. And shorter would mean less margins. But I think once we get to the bunny hopping tests, which after another 18 of these, I think that's when we're going to start seeing larger margins, because when you're bunny hopping, you accelerate every single jump. If you press both keys at the same time, like this, then you lose acceleration. So the smallest mistake will be definitely noticeable. Yeah, but the script doesn't press the keys, and that's the difference. The difference is testing the keys on the keyboard. You need to make a robot to press the keys for me. Yeah, so this whole test is to test the abilities of this Wooting analog mechanical keyboard, where I've been able to define that as soon as I let go of the key, it releases it does the minus move left. So there should be less mistakes where I press both keys at the same time. And historically, a mechanical keyboard will get a lot of mistakes, and a membrane will get mistakes but less. And so I'm doing this same test on each one to see with a controlled testing environment what the difference is. And probably this is pointless, because maybe I'll be probably faster if I was doing this or whatever, but I just wanted it simple. But the results have been interesting, but there's very, very little. Yeah, there's very little difference in the keyboards at this test. Alright, I fucked that up. So basically the way I'm doing it is I'm trying to keep the crosshair as close to the other end as possible. But if you hold strafe a little bit too much, I have to compensate and correct it by a little bit and aim. Like if I move to the right, I need to aim a little bit to the left. But as long as I'm not coming out of my lane, it's not really a problem. Another sub 12. 11.955. Honestly, on this test, which is not the best test. The real test is going to be the bunny hopping test. But honestly, on this test so far, the Logitech membrane keyboard, the K whatever it is the worst. And the Cooler Master is the second best, and the Wooting is the best, and the Matias is the worst. Oh, actually no. I don't know. Yeah, so it's interesting. Oh, I felt a slow down there. Wow. That is 11.860. Is that my best time so far? No, second best. No, actually, the Cherry MX Brown's first run was 11.798. Which is crazy. It had 2 sub 11s and then three sub 12.2s. But all right, last run for this keyboard. $12.002. I think that was actually probably my fatigue that lowered that then. Alright, I'm gonna switch back to the Cherry MX Brown, which is a Cooler Master Pro ST 10 keyless, for those that are wondering, which before the Wooting, I reckon was probably the nicest keyboard I had used. Just gonna give my hand a break. $11.821, which is probably like the third fastest run. The interesting thing is when Milton did his video explaining that he found mechanical keyboards slower. the mechanical keyboards he was using were not good mechanical keyboards. He was using the Logitech. What's that? Logitech Pro, their old mechanical keyboard with the Rogan switches or whatever they were, which are terrible. They're not using like Cherry MX switches. They're using their own shitty ones. And the other one he was using was like, the other one I think he was using was a Cherry MX red or black. The ones that are really hard to push, which also will slow you down. So I actually think his test may be flawed, and this testing may prove maybe that mechanical keyboards aren't as bad. But yeah, we'll see. .028. So that feels to me like that was a flawless run, but it was, 0.2 of a second slower than the fastest. .184. Not a great speed. Eleven point 926. Actually, I've got another keyboard here. Actually, I've got a Razer Tournament Edition 10 keyless, which is it's a fucking piece of shit. Actually, the keys, I'm not even gonna bother testing that. It's a expensive piece of crap, that thing. Alright, I'm now switching to... Actually... Yeah. Alright, I'm switching back to the Matias, which is like a butterfly switch. .071. Interestingly, that is the fastest run so far on the Matias. On the Matias, for some reason, really hard to keep straight. 12.261, which probably contributes to why it's getting the worst speeds. 12.261. 12.261. 12.26. Sorry, I have to alt tab and update the spreadsheet after each run. This is interesting. I wonder what. So far, it's actually going to be out of the Cherry MX Brown and the Wooting so far. On this test, which 12.018. That's actually the fastest run for the Matias, which I thought I would have been getting slower because I would have been fatigued. Why is that one so hard to keep straight? I wonder. 12.369. It's the worst one so far. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, it's actually a long time to be rapidly pressing those keys. And the thing is, certain keyboards make me fatigue more than others. Now, interestingly, I was using the wrist rest with the Wooting, which it feels really good. I've never liked wrist rests in my life, but this one is the nicest wrist rest I've ever seen, and so much so that I'm actually using the wrist rest. I wonder if that might be slowing me down, or making me a different angle, causing me to fatigue more. So instead of having my hand more horizontal, it's sort of more claw-like, if that makes sense. I might do another test run with the Wooting without the wrist rest. Oh, 161. Yeah, you should try. It's too long of a test. You should see how it feels like those runs go forever, which is not ideal. So the Logitech I'm testing, this is actually the keyboard that I used when I played Quake in Europe. It's the Logitech K200, which is like a Dutch. It's a Dutch layout. It's basically all the Quake players use the K120. Well, this is basically the K120 with media keys. It's just a piece of shit. It's the worst keyboard I've ever used for typing, but it was actually decent for Quake World. $11.950. That was the first sub 12 on the Logitech. 11.872. Wow. So, the only keyboard that hasn't been able to get a sub 11 is actually the Matias, which is was my preferred keyboard for Quaycord. Very interesting. $11.814. That was a good time. I'm wondering if I just do the last test like this. Hey guys, just going through many tests of your lovely keyboard right now, and so far it is faring very well against the other keyboards, but this test isn't the best. Once we get onto the bunny hopping test is where we'll start seeing the real changes, the real differences in speed. Wow, that was the fastest time so far. $12.099. So when I average out 10 runs between all of them, there is very little between any of the keyboards. Although the Matias is, there's 0.1 of a second. Yeah, it's actually weird. The slowest keyboard, well, I would have assumed was what I assume would have been the slowest keyboard actually averaged the fastest by 0.1 of a second, but that wasn't the best test. Now, this is the real test. All right. So, the route I'm going to take... Ah, shit. I should have been facing this way. So this is the route I'm going to take. my spreadsheet ready. I don't think my hands will fatigue as much with this test. So the way I want to do it is I want to not jump any of these corners so that the route is as fair as possible. So, alright. Alright, 15.704. Alright, this is still on the Logitech K200. $15,767. All right. Switching keyboards. $15.807. I'll watch the start. Such an awkward starting position I've picked for myself. The hell? Alright, I think my Cooler Master cable might be dead. That was the slowest run out of any of them so far. Which is expected on the Cherry MX Brown. Okay, I will do, mate. Hopefully my hand doesn't fatigue too much before I get some meaningful results. Which is a new slowest result ever, and that is on the Matias. What the fuck? That was my go-to keyboard for speed, and consistently it's giving the worst results in these tests. 15.873. $16.443. So far with this test, the Logitech membrane is just edging out the Wooting, then the Cooler Master, and the Matias is like way out the back. I really think I have done myself a mischief by putting the start point there. It's so hard to do this first jump without going over that. So I kind of have to go... And arguably that first jump is the most critical to the run. But that's why I'm basically doing just a few runs on each keyboard, so that if my... Wow, that was fast. That was 15.640. That was the fastest run by 0.1 of a second. Hey OP1 Kenobi, how you going, man? I'm basically I'm doing some speed tests to test how fast certain keyboards affect movements. It's been long theorized that mechanical keyboards are slower than membrane keyboards, and it was Milton who first proposed this. However, he was using particularly shitty keyboards. Anyway, the guys at Wooting have come out with this really nice analog keyboard, and essentially I'm pitting it against all of these other keyboards that I have here. I've got 4 keyboards. I've got a Logitech K200, a Matias 10 keyless, a Cooler Master Pro S Cherry MX Brown, and the Wooting 1. $16.301. $15.898. That was fast. 15.925. Yeah, well, essentially, yeah, mechanical keyboards. I don't know. When I stopped using them at Cooler Master, I went to the Matias. I definitely felt like I could move faster. And Drax got the same keyboard as me, and he felt the same way. But these tests are basically consistently showing that Matias keyboard to be the slowest of the lot. Fuck's sake. Man, this Cooler Master keyboard is fucked. 15.915, which is... Was it 15.915? It wasn't a bad speed. .340. Point 16.598. 16.598. That was the slowest run yet. Point 222. 15.860. Is that the fastest run so far? 15.860. 15.860. No. It's the second fastest run. .876. You know what? I've still got about, out of 40 runs, I've still probably got about 18 to go. And so far the Wooting is winning. It's only had one run over 16 seconds. And the Logitech had two. Logitech K200, which is the multimedia version of the K120. .976 again. Alright, I'm back on the Matias now. .330. .378. Yeah, and what's crazy is the Matias was the keyboard that I bought the most recently because it was recommended to me by Mushy. Thanks a fucking lot, Mushy. And it honestly does feel faster in game, but the test results are speaking for itself. It's only been able to manage on this test, one sub 16 result. Whereas, so all the keyboards except this one I've done 7 runs. I've done 5 on this so far. So the Wooting had all runs under 16 seconds apart from one. The Cooler Master had 2 runs under. The Cooler Master Cherry Max Blue had 2 runs under 16, the rest above. The Matias has had 1 run so far under 15, the rest above. And the Logitech had 5 runs under and 2 over 16. So far the Wooting is winning. Well, I tell you what, I'll never be fucking using this Matias again, that's for sure. Well, the thing is, I'd been swapping the Matias in and out for the Cooler Master Cherry MX Brown, just because the Matias was nice for Quake World and the Cherry MX Brown was nice for everything else. But the Wooting is definitely faster than the Cooler Master, and it's the nicest build quality keyboard I think I've ever used. Like, I really liked my Cooler Master with Cherry MX Brown. It's a Pro S 10 keyless, but yeah, these results speak for themselves. Oh, fuck. What the hell's going on? 16.859. Man, I think that's the slowest run so far. Yeah, it turns out the Matias is a piece of shit. God damn it. .351. All right, so I've completed. So that's the thing. This is why the Wooting is really special. All mechanical keyboards are digital, but the Matias is analog. So what it is, it's got a Hall sensor, which is like the same type of sensor that you would use on an analog joystick, where it detects a magnet, I believe, inside to tell how far you've pushed the joystick in what direction. So these switches inside the Wooting can tell how far you've pushed it down. So you can like customize the keys. So you can say, all right, I only want the key to trigger when I push it all the way to the bottom. But in this case, my strafe left and strafe right keys, I've put it so that as soon as I start pressing the key, I want it to activate. But then the second I let go of it, which is still half pushed down, the second I let go of it, I want it to release the key. And what that allows, as we can see by these results, is that, as you can see by these results, that it allows membrane, like the Logitech, which is like the gold standard of Quake World movement, the membrane keyboard. You can get membrane keyboard performance on a mechanical keyboard, and that's why this keyboard is so revolutionary. I've still got 3 runs left to go on each one. Yeah. So this is really, really fucking cool. And shout outs to the guys at Wooting, because when I heard about this keyboard and saw all the cool things that you could do with it, I reached out to them and said, look, this is the problem we have with Quake World. It's a game that we can't use mechanical keyboards because it slows us down. And I said to them, I think your keyboard can solve this problem. And so I explained the problem to them, and we sort of worked together. And I said to them, yeah, look, I want to test it to see. And I was willing to pay for it. They just sent it to me for free, which is really great. And so far, this test is proving that it is faster than a Logitech membrane keyboard. It really is. And so yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so I've got 3 left on each. All right, so I'm basically mixing up the order so that it's when you do something repetitive like this, you can actually get better at it. So I'm doing like a few on one, then a few on another, then a few on the other, so that my skill and my fatigue doesn't become a factor. So yeah, all right. So like this run, I started with the Logitech. I did 3, then the Matias 3, then the Cooler Master 3, then the Wooting 3. Then I think I did Matias. Yeah, I don't know. I'm mixing it up anyway, just so that I'm not a factor in the testing. What do we do now? Let's go back to the Logitech. My hand is getting quite sore. $16.016. $15.598. Wow, is that the record? 15.598. It is. So you can see this is the other fast keyboard. This is the Logitech membrane, and so far it has the fastest speed, but overall the Wooting has consistently, if I average them all out, the Wooting is in the lead, I believe. But let's finish the testing. A Quakeologist. It makes me a nerd. Ah, I clipped the post. 15.756. I'm going back to the Wooting now. Weird. What is going on there? .83. That's a very low score. Very low. This I think this thing, I'm getting caught on this thing. .054. 16 by 184. I'm back on the Cooler Master now, by the way. 16.56. $16.794. Alright, this is the Matias. $16.572. $16.458. Yeah, just I guess the reason why membranes were good or non-mechanical were good was because the second you release the key, it deactivates. Whereas mechanical keyboards, there's a lot of travel time before the key deactivates. So it means that you accidentally hit both strafe keys at the same time, which slows you down. And so non-mechanicals, because of their short travel time, the short travel time results in less keys being pressed at the same time, and more speed. But because you can, because it's an analog key with the Wooting, so you can have it deactivate. You know, deactivate quicker. Yeah, basically. And so, just give me a second. I'll show you the Wooting software. All right, so with the Wooting keys, you can set up cool things. So I use ESDF as my movement keys, not WASD. And so what it is you can set different functions, what you want to happen when those keys are pressed. So my S key, so when I press it down, and this is down just at the beginning of the key press, I want it to activate. And then when it gets all the way down to the bottom, I still want it to be activated. See, I can basically say how much of the key stroke I want that key to be activated. So I want it to be activated all the way down, but the second it starts coming up, I want it to deactivate. So because I can set this on the Wooting keyboard, on the Wooting keys, yeah, but it allows me to do that. So I only need that on my left and right strafe keys, and yeah. So you can do this control. Oh, hang on. I don't have the Wooting keyboard plugged in at the moment, which is why this is wigging out. So yeah, but there's actually other cool things you can do. So it might not be applicable for it might not be so applicable for Quake World, but other cool things you can do is like you can say, just say you play a game where you need to run, you need to walk or run. So just say in PUBG, my W key. Hang on, what's going on? I don't think it's letting me do this. Let me just finish this one last run, and then I'll show you some of the cool things it can do. All right, I've got one run to go. 16.275. All right, I'll just reconnect the Wooting keyboard. All right, so here's the results anyway. So I don't know if you can read that or not. Let me see if I can make this bigger. All right, so I think this first test I did, it's not really that worthwhile, but because yeah, all it was speed walking, where you go left right with your keys. But because you don't really make many mistakes when you do that, you don't really touch both strafe keys at the same time. So the difference between them was, virtually nothing across all keyboards. In fact, the Cherry MX Brown actually won that, but yeah, it's when you get to the bunny hopping, which is the real which is the real thing. So you'll see both the Logitech K200 and the K200. Like every Quakewood players buy the K120. The only difference between the K200 and the 120, it's the same keyboard, but the K200 has multimedia keys on it. That's the only difference, but it's the same membrane thing. All right, so you can see here. So up until that last round of testing, the Wooting was actually winning. But on average, it's 0.1 of a second slower. But then you look at the Matias and the Cooler Master, they're way slower. They're like 0.4 and 0.6, 0.5, 5.5 of a second slower over that run. But you can see these two, it's 0.1 of a second difference. So, which is so just so you can see exactly what it is. But the problem with these three are all 10 keyless. But this one is a full-size keyboard. I actually can't play it with a full-size keyboard. I have such a big mouse mat that it completely rules this out for me. These two, both the non-mechanical ones, are absolutely horrible to type on. Whereas both of these mechanical ones are a delight to type on. And now with COVID and shit and working at home all the time, I'm working at home on my gaming PC. And, if I want to sit there and type out lots of messages or whatnot, you want a nice keyboard. And so basically I had been using these two because finding a 10 keyless non-mechanical was actually very hard. It took me a long time to find one. So I just put up with the slower movement of the Cherry MX Brown. But this one is a tiny bit slower, but barely any difference from the membrane. It's 10 keyless, and it's nice to type on, which for me is a no-brainer. I will never use another keyboard again. Simple as that. It is that good. But definitely, as far as mechanical keyboards go, this one is a lot faster. You can see the difference. I do have another mechanical keyboard here, the Razer Tournament Edition 10 keyless. But it's such a shithouse keyboard, I don't even think it warrants putting it in for a test. Yeah, so yeah, I just got this one magical run here. These two magical runs here, which if I probably didn't get this one, I think the Wooting would have won. You can see my last three on the Wooting were like the worst three runs I did almost. But at this point in the testing, the Wooting was winning. And so I don't know if it's, and look at this. The last run on that was the worst run out of anyone. So I don't know if fatigue was setting in, because I tested this last set first. And so I don't know if fatigue was setting in or what. But to be honest, the Wooting actually feels faster. So, yeah. So, 1, 2, 3 So seven sub 15s, sub 16s. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they both got only 3 above 16 and 7 below, whereas the Cherry MX Brown only got 2 below, and the Matias only got 1 run below 16. So this is 7 out of 10. This is 2 out of 10. This is 1 out of 10. And this is 7 out of 10. Yeah, so now I can show you some of the other cool stuff you can do. So just say you're playing like a game like Corsair make the worst peripherals ever. Like it's funny. Doc said just earlier in the chat that he has a Corsair K70 and loves it. Yeah, I could never use a full-size keyboard ever again. So for my purposes, the Wooting one is the best keyboard. It's the fastest 10 keyless keyboard there is, because there is no 10 keyless version of those Logitech membranes. Yeah, so sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, so if you play a game like PUBG and just say you you've got to press a key to walk, and then you want to run as well. So what you can do is you can say, all right, if you just push the key down this far, then you walk. But if you push it down further than partial way down, it then holds down shift for you at the same time. So hang on. So what it is, so as you push it in a little bit, you walk, and you push it in the whole way down, you run. So it allows you to do like really cool things like that no other keyboard can do. And it's all based on how far you push the key down. So you can see I push it in a little bit, and it's W. And you push it in the full way, and it's W and shift. So you've got your run function right there. Really cool. But I don't need to use any of that stuff. But it'd definitely be beneficial for some people. But I just want S to be S and only that far. And I want F to be F and that far. Yeah. So like, I haven't really had a think about it, but for PUBG, I think there's some there could be some cool applications for things that I could do with it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Fast quake wheel movement on a mechanical keyboard. Alright, I'm going to end the stream there, guys. I'll highlight this for future viewing. Alright, cheers, guys.